Hello and welcome back to another episode of Swinging at Shins, your Premier League podcast. Well, I don't know what Rhett just did. That was a little weird.
I was
He's
trying to
just blocked.
wave, and I was trying
Oh,
to get it to pick up my hand, but when
ah,
I sit this close, it won't. So then I
aha.
put it, and then it just made me
Yeah.
disappear.
Yep. Okay, that makes sense to me now.
It still
Well,
doesn't make sense to me, but okay.
well, it just fills in the rest of the screen, so it's like we only see your hand and make you invisible now. Anyway, for
I'm
viewers
losing
who
a little
got
bit
that, they
tonight.
got a real treat. Um,
I'm losing it tonight.
you and me both, buddy. Anyway, back to the soccer antics. It is your Premier League podcast, stateside. Today you have myself, a guy with a beard, apparently, Aaron, and Rhett. Rhett, how are you doing?
I don't ask that question.
I mean, we already knew. It's
I'm
just
working on a
semantics.
liquid dinner, and I'm not finding the word for it. I'm no longer finding solace in sports.
Are you that sad?
Arsenal, yeah, I mean a little bit.
I'm going
Bruins
to be
can't win a
honest.
game. I was excited for the international break because we need a rest. That's not a good place to be.
The international break's a terrible place to get rest, just because you know with
Really hoping
Arsenal's recent
everyone
track.
was gonna pick up an injury.
Yeah. That's it.
Oh, I can't. I'm injured.
So there's that. No, I kind of feel the same way though. Um, Villa have been underperforming, but performing in a manner in which is probably still on the higher side for them. So it's expectations versus reality right now. Um, but
Well, all right. So let's put it this way. Yes, Villa's sitting ninth. However, the difference between ninth and third is 1 point.
mhm.
So it's like, okay, they're ninth, but like, no, we don't know how this whole top half of the table is going to shake up yet. No
No,
way
it's
Fulham finishes this high. Nottingham Forest is punching way above their weight. Like, yeah, you guys are coming off of a Liverpool loss, which sucked. But
and a Spurs loss.
do you? Yeah, and I don't
Worse.
forgive you for that. But do you remember when we said, "Hey, Liverpool hasn't really played anyone particularly good. We don't know what to make of Arnie Slot yet."
Yeah,
Um,
multiple
I know
times.
what to make of Arnie Slot, and he is doing the best with what he's got. And I don't mean that in a placating way. I mean that as in like, holy crap!
He's
Liverpool's
getting the
5 points clear of City
yep.
and 9 points clear of Chelsea and Arsenal
Yeah.
and Forest. Technically, I mean, I'm gonna give it to Forest too. But like, wow.
No, he's done a very good job. I think he's gotten. It's almost been like a breath of fresh air for this Liverpool team. So we'll
Was
do
Jurgen Klopp the problem the past 2 years?
I
Did he
maybe
remove himself from the situation?
it's like complacency. In players when they win a championship, they get a little. The squad gets a little complacent, so you have to replace or add in players who haven't done it yet necessarily, and then it kind of keeps the rejuvenation of let's go out and continue winning kind
Well,
of
and
thing.
then so people to play devil's advocate, people are gonna say, okay, but what about Arsene Wenger and Alex Ferguson? And my argument would be they only really had each other, and you didn't have to go to this level. Jose Mourinho burns out everywhere he goes.
Well, yeah,
Like he
because
wins everywhere he goes, but he burns bridges. He burns himself out. He
yep,
doesn't have friends anywhere, and he leaves. So like even Pep was City. This is the longest he's ever stayed with a team,
yep, that is
and
true.
how he has the drive to do it every single day.
I don't know either. It's commendable. That's for sure. Certain. That was a mouth twister, and
He doesn't look
also,
like a guy who takes like a bunch of cocaine either.
dude, I
This is
saw
just all natural.
I saw a picture of him like 20, 30 years ago. Dude was a stunner. Like
It's just because
full
you
head
like
of
him bald.
hair.
Oh, okay.
No, he had a full head of hair. Anyway, yeah. So Liverpool first top of the league here, 28 points. Man City sitting second with 23. So little surprising with Chelsea, 19 points, sitting third. I mean, their youth is kind of finally coming together and actually in a productive manner.
While I will say this, while we did not agree with the moves that Maresca chose to make,
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of those. There's a very good team in there somewhere. All you got to do is just go get it.
Mm-hmm.
And he did, and he has. I mean, I think the Arsenal Chelsea match. I think that if Arsenal could find their finishing boots again, that match would have been very different.
Sure.
But it wasn't, and it's another draw at Stamford Bridge. We've now drawn the last 2 games at Stamford Bridge.
For those bettors out there, maybe next year when they go play, bet the draw. If you remember. Actually, yeah, you should pay attention to this. Come back to this in a year's time.
Come back to it.
The only way you're gonna hold on. The only way you're gonna remember is if you like, follow, and subscribe, and especially if you hit that notification bell. Anyway, back to the.
There was an insane stat when Chelsea played with Enzo Fernandez. They're like a 500 team.
Yeah, you did.
Which they're like 50-50 for wins. Like they win half the time.
Yeah.
When Enzo's not playing, they win like 85% of the time.
Yeah, so somebody's the problem, right?
I feel so vindicated because everyone it was so hot on Enzo after the World Cup, and I was like, I don't see it. He's gonna be the bust. He's gonna be the guy who busts. And then Chelsea pays so freaking much money to get him.
I didn't.
And now they don't want him.
Yeah, I didn't see that either. Like, I didn't really see where the talent was coming from. What the whole, Enzo package was. It was just kind of like one of those World Cup flash in the pans. Like
he's Jaime Rodriguez.
That's literally where I was going. Jaime Rodriguez.
And not only is he Jaime Rodriguez just because where's the talent coming from? I can see the talent. Does he have the ability to do it all the time? Does he have his head screwed on straight? Especially if you're in the DM role.
Yeah.
Do you have the ability to every single game be the guy who says, you know what, I don't have my best stuff and it doesn't matter. You're still not going to get through.
Yep.
And he just, no, not with him. Not with him. And everyone made all the excuses last year. And this year, with Chelsea playing well, there's like no more excuses to be had.
Good. And
you can't make it work with Cole Palmer. Come on.
Yeah, right. That's the mentality that they need. You went out and signed all these players, and it's kind of like their trial era is over with right now. And it's show me what you got, and if you don't, you're on the bench.
And so far, you can't argue with the fact that it's very good. They are neck and neck with the team that's finished second the past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, finished 2 points off the top last year. And not only are they neck and neck, they've played and drawn them. And I'm not saying that Arsenal's the standard. I know City's the standard.
Mm-hmm.
But they're 4 points behind City after 11 games. They were how many points behind City after 11 games last year?
Mm-hmm.
I'll give it to them. I don't know if they can sustain it, but it's the right direction. Hate it and I'm angry about it.
So we're gonna kind of actually what we'll do is we'll blend a little overachiever, underachiever, and just right with the rest of this because it just we don't need to go over it double time. So Chelsea overachieving, underachieving, or just right?
I think right now they're just right.
I agree. Actually, I think also Arsenal's probably just right too. They're sitting fourth with 19 points. In fact, there's going to be a theme for the next.
I would argue that I think Arsenal's underachieving.
Yeah.
For 2 reasons. One, so Arsenal's just right. Arsenal's just right with how the season's gone.
Yeah.
I think how the season's gone is currently underachieving from where they should be. If we didn't lose Odegaard, if we didn't have to play a man down to Brighton, if we didn't have to play a man down to City, if we didn't have to play a man down to, I forget the third because it happens all the freaking time.
Bournemouth?
Was it Bournemouth? It was a very embarrassing.
I think it was Bournemouth. I'm just pulling a rabbit out of the hat here. It was Bournemouth.
Yeah, it was. It was Bournemouth. We lost 2-0 to Bournemouth.
Good job, Brian.
Saliba. And then, but anyway, I'm not getting into that.
Yeah.
That and Odegaard going down, we're playing just right. That I absolutely agree. We don't have our finishing shoes on. We're playing just right. I think Arsenal talent-wise is underachieving. So whatever that is, I think right now Chelsea's just right for both.
I agree.
Now, that's insane to say for a team that spent $1 billion on players, but they overpaid for a lot of it.
Well, and now they're gonna have to sit with their punishment, like not even have Mikhailo Mudryk on the field. So,
do you want to know something that's very interesting?
Of course I do. Please.
City had a worse November than Arsenal did. Like so far.
That's not something I would have.
City lost to Bournemouth 2-1.
And Brighton.
And lost to Brighton 2-1. By the way, apparently Bournemouth is just very good against big teams. Because like Arsenal loses to Bournemouth and then City turns around 2 match weeks later and loses to Bournemouth. City have not won a game in their last 4. 2-1 loss to Spurs, 2-1 loss to Bournemouth, 4-1 loss to Sporting, 2-1 loss to Brighton.
Yeah, they're on a 4-game losing streak here. It is miserable.
4-game losing streak for Manchester City.
Can you?
And I'm not even that excited about it because Arsenal can't get points together.
Well, it's only the 4 games are like, 2 in the league, 2 outside the league. So it's
still though.
Realistically, if you're a fan,
if Pep had any hair, he'd be pulling it out.
Probably. He you know what he should do is just get hair plugs to just pull them out.
He'll get a toupee, and when he gets really mad, he'll scalp himself on the field.
My God, Jesus. Pep, please. We're begging you.
Please do that. Oh my God.
God.
All-time favorite manager if that happens.
Yeah, right. Just instantly skyrocketed. Also instantly skyrocketing. Forest.
Well, hold on. I do want to. Let's go back. City underachieving. 4-game losing streak for City's underachieving.
Yes, and even 2 games is actually underachieving in a row.
I don't see how Forest is not overachieving.
Oh God, they're overachieving in the best way that they could, winning 1-0.
Well, all right. So 1-1 draw to Chelsea, right? Then 1-0 to Palace, 3-1 against Leicester, 3-0 against West Ham.
They also won 1-0 against Liverpool earlier in the season.
They were the one team.
They've taken a lot of points from a lot of good teams. It seems like they've kind of bought into the Nuno tactics, experiments, counterattacking, whatever. At least they have an identity and a direction right now. Whereas the last couple of years, it kind of floundered with just like, if we can get our fastest player and our most creative player on the ball, which was just Morgan Gibbs-White at that point,
and
maybe Taiwo Iwani.
Let's be clear. Forest didn't have the money that Chelsea did, but I think they bought almost as many players.
Yes, they did. They bought 22 players in their first.
So it's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing where you finally have a manager that comes in and says, "I don't give a shit. This is what and pack your bags if you don't like it." And that's why Pochettino failed. Pochettino was very good at Spurs, and he was, because he had a bunch of guys who were willing to overachieve, and he didn't have any real divas to do it. He goes to PSG, he has a bunch of divas, he can't make it work.
Yeah.
He goes to Chelsea. The only way to make it work is to tell people to pack their bags. And he won't do it.
Well.
So it's gone. I mean, he's now 0 for 2 with that. And then Maresca comes in and says, "I don't care." To the point that you and I are even going, what is he doing? But they're third right now, so what he's doing is working, and we're just a bunch of fucking couch guys who don't know what we're talking about. And Nuno's the same thing. Nuno is a good manager. I don't think he's an amazing manager, but he's a good manager, and he's done exactly what Forest needs.
He's a mid-table manager, and if he can squeeze out a few games where, he could beat a couple teams on the top side or take points from them, then that's an accomplishment right there. And then
Nuno's the type of guy
11th, 12th.
Nuno's the type of guy that if he was in the Portuguese league, he would be taking Porto or
he would
to back champions.
They'd be like Braga or something and go and kick ass.
He never gets the big team.
Yeah.
And as much as we love that in Listen, I know Pep did it with Barcelona, but in Barcelona he had Messi, I know, and Xavi, and the freaking dream team, right? Like it's not just Messi. I know
Yeah.
when he went to Bayern, he had prime Lewandowski, and they went and got Hummels, and they had all those guys, right?
Yep.
And now he's at City, and he has whoever they need. Oh, we need a guy that center back. We're just going to go get Laporte because we want.
Open checkbook sign here. Here you go.
And I think that Nuno is one of those guys that if he had that same kind of open checkbook, it would work. Pep fell into a Barcelona team that did not quite realize that they had, even at that time, I don't think they realized that they had the greatest player of all time.
Yeah. Oh.
And so now everyone's like, oh, Pep's a fantastic manager. And maybe, give credit to Pep because I do think Pep helped develop Leo. But it is one of those things where, I think Nuno could do that with a lot of guys. Nuno was also given a Spurs team that was given no support whatsoever. You had an aging Lucas Moura. You had an aging Harry Kane. You had
a prime Harry Kane.
Well, you did have a prime Harry Kane. Aging's not the right word, but you didn't have. You had an aging back line.
That is fair to say.
And I think that Nuno's finally getting his dues. It was Vertonghen and
yes, yeah. Vertonghen.
Oh, the other guy, the other Belgian.
What? Shoot.
Van der Waal? No. Oh my God, I can see his face.
Yeah, I'm just drawing a blank on. Oh, Toby Alderweireld.
Alderweireld. They were the back line for Spurs forever. They were very good for a while.
Oh yeah.
But they just got old. And that happens.
That happens. Weird how age works sometimes. Anyway.
All right, so Forest overachieving?
Overachieving for sure.
Brighton?
I think they're just right. In all honesty, I think within
really,
yeah, we pegged them last year.
I'm sorry. Yes, no. All right, fine. But let me ask you this: at the beginning of the year, I'm going to tell you. Listen, Brighton is going to beat City and draw Arsenal in the first 11 games, and be sitting equal points. They're 6 because of goal difference.
Yes, that's what
they're equal points with third. That's overachieving. That is overachieving.
I don't know. They did this.
It's not overachieving the level that Forest is, but it is overachieving.
I don't think so. I think if they were
they're essentially
7th or 8th, I could also say just right.
See, so it's only because it's so tight. It's only because they're so tight. I'm talking about results they've had on the pitch. They're overachieving on the results.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Beat City.
Yep.
Got close to drawing Liverpool. Beat Newcastle United at St. James's Park.
That's an achievement.
I'm telling you. If I told you 11 games in, they're going to almost draw Liverpool, they're going to beat City, they're going to draw Arsenal, they're going to beat Newcastle at St. James's Park and essentially be sitting third. And is that overachieving for Brighton? You would have said yes.
Would I? Never mind. I was going to say if I had to base it off of last season, yes. Okay.
They beat Tottenham.
I would have said overachieve.
They are overachieving. They're not overachieving to the level that I think a Forest is, but they are overachieving. Now, maybe they're going to... They could stay 6, but they're not going to get those results. The only reason why they're going to stay 6 is because they already have those results against the big teams. So if they draw Newcastle at home, right? If they draw Arsenal again at home, even if they get beat at the Etihad by City, they're still got a good shot at being where they are at the table.
Yeah. Yep. So, overachieving you, just right for me.
I haven't convinced you?
No.
I can go on.
No, that's fine.
I still think you're wrong.
That's fine. That's okay. It's okay to have disagreements and still be humans. So we're going to move on to Fulham, where they don't deserve anything. So they're overachieving.
Oh, Jesus.
No, honestly, I do think they're overachieving. They've gotten a lot of production out of Raul Jimenez. and a couple of times Harry Wilson saved their skin too. So I think they're overachieving here this season for this season. They don't. It's not like they don't have good players either. I think um, that's not Anderson Silva.
I don't know, man. They beat Leicester. They lost to United. They drew Ipswich. They drew West Ham.
Yeah, so overachieving.
They beat
in the position that they're right now in, 7th.
That's 1 point behind Brighton.
Uh huh.
You're insane.
I really think they're like 11th. That's just right for me.
Which is 2 points behind.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just right. For how they're playing, I think they're just right. Not in 7th, but for points through 11 games, I think they're just right. And who they played and what the results have been, I think they're right.
See, I think we're in different.
This is why you don't over and underachieve before at least halfway. You got to play every team once before you actually have that. It's results based. It just is. Like Liverpool was just right when they had played nobody. And now I would say that they're probably overachieving a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. Because of how they've beaten Villa and how they just continued on with this win streak. I mean, 28 points through 11 matches and 5 points clear of everybody. I think that's overachieving. No one thought they would be here. We'll get Woodsy on the pod right now. He's probably up with his kid. Call him. Be like, Woodsy, did you really think you'd have 28 points or be 5 points clear through 11 matches? And he'd say no. Now,
you think so?
Overachieving doesn't mean deserving. Because deserving is another thing. Like overachieving is like, are you playing greater than the sum of your parts or not? You got an aging Mo Salah who played like crap last year. Yes, he's still incredibly good, but no one thought he would come back this good. You got a Van Dijk who is playing who knows where next year, which by the way goes for Mo Salah. You got a Trent Alexander-Arnold who has been a defensive liability for the past 2 or 3 years and now suddenly isn't. Like he's not playing good defense. Liverpool just knows how to handle it again. No one thought Liverpool would be here. That's an overachievement.
Okay.
28 points through 11. Like, so maybe, I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I think it's fair to say that, like, Villa is probably a little bit of a disappointment.
I don't disagree with that.
And that's why I said Arsenal's probably an underachiever, just because you would expect through 11 matches them to have more points. Just like I would expect Villa to have more points.
Yeah. So do we feel Newcastle's underachieving or overachieving? Actually,
I think Newcastle's just right.
I agree with that.
Because Newcastle's streaky. They were streaky the past 2 years.
They had that one consistent season where they would draw or win. That's it. But
yeah, but they're incredibly streaky.
Yes.
St. James's Park is a fortress one day, and the next day they're getting beaten by freaking Brighton. Or who beat them? Who did they win away at? Yeah, it was Brighton. It's just you never know what Newcastle is. What Chelsea kind of was last year. You never know what you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
The Newcastle match. Newcastle beat Arsenal 1-0, and let's face it. Again, if Arsenal could finish, that would not have been a win. And if Anthony Gordon didn't have the absolutely perfect cross to Isak's absolutely perfect header,
yep,
it should have probably been 0-0 by all get out. That's what it should have happened, but it wasn't. And that's fine; those things happen. But I think Newcastle ends up in just right.
Fair enough.
And I think Villa's a better team than Newcastle, and that's why they're underachieving.
And that's fair. And Villa's sitting 9th right now with 18 points.
And it's really the 0 goal difference.
Yeah, they've been kind of disappointing on the defensive half, obviously, because, they put in 17 goals, which is top 10 in the league. It's just they haven't been able to keep them out very well.
Here's the reason why. Go ahead.
Nah, I don't. I was going to spin like they It's the 60th minute that kills them. It's weird.
Here's
you
the
look
other
up a lot
reason
of big
why
goals.
the team I said was overachieving before is overachieving. Best defensively record in the league is Liverpool. We know that.
Yeah.
Incredible defense to start the season, and while they have been not to that level, they're still very good.
Yeah.
Who? Don't look at the table. Don't look at the table. Look at me. Who has the second best defensive record?
Just give me a second. I'm trying to run the table through my head real quick. I'm trying to like. I would say. God.
What does
Chelsea.
your gut tell you? No.
Chelsea.
Chelsea's close, but no. Chelsea and City are both at 13 goals allowed. Arsenal's at 12. Forest is at 10. That's overachieving.
Huh. Yeah.
That's overachieving. For Forest to have a better defense than Villa, than Newcastle, than Brighton, than Arsenal, than City, than Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, when they don't give up a lot of goals. I mean, and that's been the new now.
Yeah, but eventually they won't get the goals. You're going to sacrifice too much.
They picked up a center back, and he's been pretty stellar. I just can't remember his name. I could actually just look it up. It's right in front of me. Milinkovic. Where the heck did they get him out of? Fiorentina. Yeah, he I mean, he's been pretty good there.
97th percentile for aerial duels won.
And that is a huge stat in the Premier League. So,
all right. I'm going to do one more. Can't do the whole table.
Yes.
Spurs, sure. Overachieving, underachieving, or just right?
Underachieving.
I'd say overachieving. That should be last. No, but like in all honesty,
is it really? Do you think it's just right? Mid-table? Like
not
honestly.
not mid-table.
Sorry, 10th.
They are 3 points off from third through 11 matches.
Yeah.
And I think that's just right.
Yeah.
That's one loss flipped to a win. For them to be that close at this point is just right. Again, I get it. They're 10th. The top half of the table is insane.
Yeah.
13th to 3rd is separated by 4 points.
Sure.
Because it's 11 matches in, and the only team that's actually excelled, the only team that's actually looked like you can't beat us is Liverpool.
Forest. Oh, I meant Liverpool.
Yeah. It's Forest.
Hold on. I got
Wolves and Southampton look like anyone could beat them.
Sure. I got one. And we both know what the answer is going to be.
Yep.
But I would just kind of want to go into
yep.
And it's West Ham. And they're underachieving.
I think West Ham is underachieving a little bit.
I think they're underachieving. I think the problem is the fact that they won the
7 points off from third.
The transfer window. They've looked bad though.
They have, but they've also done enough.
Lopetegui looks like he's just lost out there. Like it looks like the spirit of David Moyes took him over. I know David Moyes isn't dead, but like he left a part of his soul there, and it's just taking over.
They are
Lopetegui.
Really 4-1 win. 4-1 win against Ipswich. 4-1 loss to Tottenham.
They're just game they should have. Yeah, right. So a game they should have won, and a game that they could have been closer, but got mopped.
West Ham is one of those teams for me that at no point am I ever thinking, God, I really think they're going to be top half of the table. I never think, they're going to be top half.
Oh God, no. There was that
one. But so 14th and 4 points behind 10th. I don't know. That seems right at this point in the season.
If I understand the points, we're looking at the points here, and it indicates that they're not that far off. But it's just like the team that I'm watching looks lost. It doesn't. It looks like Man United essentially. Something about the Uniteds.
Yeah.
No, like they don't have a direction. There's no identity. There's just it doesn't seem like there's a will to want to play.
They're not united.
Just to go out and collect a paycheck.
They are Manchester and West Ham divided. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. By the way, to give Spurs fans their due, they have a plus 10 goal difference, and if goal difference decided league position, they would be second.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, underachieving. But again, I think point total and where they are in relation to everyone else in the field is just right.
Yeah.
You have to kind of take the league in a whole context kind of scenario. And taking the league in the context and how people are playing and how the league's played out, I think Spurs' point total is just right. Not their position in the league.
Yeah.
I think their point total, maybe they're underachieving by a point or two. If they had 2 more points, they would be sitting 7th. And if they were sitting 7th,
that's just right.
Would you say, yeah, right? So that to me is close enough.
Yeah.
You know, that's one draw to a win.
Yep.
They had 3 more points, they'd be sitting 3rd.
So. Yeah. And that's overachieving.
And that's the one. Woo! There's like 114 points up for grabs, and you're underachieving to overachieving is 1 point.
Yes.
A bit much. That's why I don't look at positions.
No, but you're fair. It's fair. We should have done points instead of position. It would have worked out a little better, but that's for the next time. So.
Oh no, we had a good discussion. So.
Absolutely. So if you've hung around this long, we appreciate it because we are both tired, and that doesn't mean anything for you guys other than the fact that you hear us yawn every now and then. If you like that sort of thing, please like, subscribe, and comment, and don't forget to hit that bell if you're watching on YouTube. We greatly appreciate it if you share us with your friends as well. This has been another episode of Swinging at Shins. Don't forget to tip your bartenders. Adios.
Bye. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for listening. Links for anything that you could be interested in, whether it's the YouTube channel, our podcast links, our social media links, everything's in the description below. Thank you very much for listening.